Okay guys, welcome back to another setup video on the channel today. Today we're going to be looking at the Corvette C7R GT2 car on the PC version of Assetto Corsa. So we're going to start our lap, we're going to look out again for the green bit of AstroTurf on the lap at Silverstone, turning in at that point, going down into 5th gear and chucking it over the curb on the right, hard on the power, use a little bit of the curb on the left hand side there, and then hard on the power and break it down now through the gears, down into 3rd gear, holding 3rd gear through the corner, just keeps the car a little bit more stable, then you can get on the power nice and early, break it down into 2nd gear, and then I like to upshift very early into 3rd gear going through that corner. This car's got a lot of torque, so also you get a good pull out the corner, but you reduce that high rev spin coming out of that corner then. Going through the gears now into 6th gear, and we're going to look out just to brake just short of the whiteboard on the right hand, going down into 3rd gear again. Just be careful on the brakes, slowly reduce the brake pressure as you go through that corner, keeps the steering rotation in on that corner. Now going through this long right hander, I like to keep it quite tight in on this corner if you're trying to go for a hot lap. In the race, if you want to try and get an overtaking move done on that corner, it's quite a good idea to go wide and then take a nice wide entry into that last corner, like the apex, and get some good exit speed. Now we're going to go into the fast right hander where you look for that changing colour on the tarmac, going down into 5th gear. We actually turned in again a little bit early. It's really tricky corner to get perfect that, and we lost a few attempts on the exit there as we ran over the curb. Going through the really fast corners now, breaking down into 5th gear, then into 4th gear, and trying to get over to the left hand side so you can really widen the angle into this right hander. It's really important to get that corner widened so you can get on the power as early as you can. You'll be surprised how much time you gain if you get that corner right. It can be as much as half a second if done correctly. Now going into the right hander now, we're going to look just to brake in between the curb and that whiteboard there, going down into 4th gear. I like to stay in 4th gear here and stay to the curb as much as possible. If you go down to 3rd gear, you can risk the back end going slightly loose, and getting on the power can be get all a bit scruffy. Going down into 2nd gear for this left hander, then into 3rd gear we come out the exit there, perfectly timed through the gears, hard on the power, and then over the line for a 159.9. There is obviously a lot more time left within this setup. I would guess that you may be able to squeeze a 58 out of this car on this setup. It would just take a bit more practice, but anyway, as a base setup I think it serves an okay purpose. Okay, so we obviously altered the final ratio down quite a bit from the default because you don't reach a very high top speed on Silverstone, although it is a fast track. Tyre pressures, as you can see there, we try to get them in the optimum range now because with the update we've now got the guide to use, and it helped out for the rears, but the front left needed to go higher. It was just going to build up. If you put that in the optimum range, it was just going to go and overheat the tyres. But I think we've got a nice compromise with the tyre pressures there. Traction control, I would actually run it on its weakest setting. You can run it off, but I found that running it on the weakest setting was actually a little bit more consistent, I'd say, but overall lap time you're probably going to be faster running it off. Cambers, you can see we didn't do too many drastic changes to the cambers, just very slight, but toe angle on the rear we really went up on that to give us as much traction coming out of some of these corners as we could. Bump stops, we've gone very high on the front again, just to aid with the stability on the braking really, and give us a nice front end that will really turn in positively. We slightly went lower on the rear on the bumps, obviously on the slow bump and stuff, just to give us a bit more traction to the rear end. You can see we've gone quite aggressive on a lot of the suspension compared to the default settings, mainly to try and give us a nice reactive car around this track. This Corvette is pretty nice handling as default, but it's not the fastest as default. I think this is a lot faster as a consistent setup and a bit easier to drive with that, especially with reducing the differential down to 10% as we have there, and we up the coasting differential obviously because this car has no ABS, so we really wanted to get as much help with the braking as possible. So that's why I've gone maximum there, as you does have a little bit of a tendency to lock up, so it does help out there. As you'll see on the replay after where we locked up, you do need to just be a bit careful on the brakes. Regards to suspension, again we've gone a little bit lower than what the default was, a little bit more aggressive on the stiffness, lowered the rear stiffness down slightly just to give us a bit more traction to the rear. We lowered the front anti-roll bar slightly down from 6, we were trying 6 but we lowered it down to 5. It just gives a bit better front end. There we go. I hope this video has helped you out. I hope the setup gives you a little bit more speed, gives you a bit more consistency. It's again quite a tricky car to drive with the ABS off. I actually found it easier to drive on the PS4 with the ABS off it. For some reason, even though you can't adjust the tyre pressures, they must have put some sort of slight assistance in on the PS4 because this car locks up a bit more easily on the PC version. But overall it seems pretty similar in terms of getting hitting on the power and stuff. You can see there we had a massive lock up into that corner there, and we were really trying to push the limits on the braking there, and we pretty much hit the limit, maybe a little bit over, but we still made the corner nicely, and we didn't really get any damage on the tyres. I had the obviously the mechanical failures on 100%, so you know, I know for a fact it will be okay for a hard lap. Maybe on a consistency run you will need to just be a little bit more cautious on the braking areas, just so you don't like keep flat spotting the tyres, as you will damage the tyres if you keep doing that. Anyway guys, make sure you hit the like button if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe for more future videos, and make sure you click that notification button so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Thanks again for watching.